on this day, the 14th of January, 1236, the marriage of Henry III and Eleanor of Provence. King Henry III was the oldest son of King John. He came to the throne in 1216 at the age of 9 on his father's death. England was in the throes of a civil war. Most of the southeast was in the hands of a French prince, invited by the English barons to replace John. Henry's life is fascinating, but today, in 1236, he was getting married to Eleanor of Provence. Eleanor was the daughter of Ramon, Count of Provence. She was only about 12 at the time of their marriage, when Henry was 18, but reportedly he treated his bride with great care. The couple became very close over almost 40 years of marriage. Eleanor proved a loyal consort, supporting Henry throughout the spells of trouble during his reign. She brought with her a large number of relatives who were known as the Savoyards and became hated by the English barons for the favour that they received. Eleanor was also intensely disliked by Londoners, but she hated them in return. She insisted on backdating payments of Queen's gold from the city, a share of fines collected by the Crown that the Queen Consort was entitled to. In 1263, while being rowed down the Thames, Eleanor was attacked by Londoners, who pelted her with mud, eggs, stones and anything else they could find. She had to be rescued and taken to safety. Henry and Eleanor had 4 children who survived infancy. The oldest was Edward, who would become King Edward I on his father's death in 1272. He would have a rocky relationship with London that owed much to their treatment of his beloved mother. Their daughter Margaret married King Alexander III of Scotland. Beatrice married John, Duke of Brittany. Edmund, 1st Earl of Lancaster, was married to Aveline de Fours and then Blanche of Artois, and is credited with founding the House of Lancaster that went on to rule England in the 15th century. They were a close family unit, and Henry and Eleanor seem to have doted on their children. When Edward was ill in the 1240s, Eleanor stayed at Beaulieu Abbey for 3 weeks to be with him, breaking the monastery's rules on female visitors. Eleanor lived until 1291. She was remembered for her beauty, fashion sense, learning and poetry writing. She and Henry had made a good team as the country settled after the huge problems of John's reign. Henry is an overlooked king who ruled for 56 years. He was, I think, a stabilising force, bridging the gap between the disastrous rule of his father and the expansionism of his son. He's far more interesting than he's usually given credit for.